eligibility for analog devices was the CPI was 8 and the eligible branches were VLSI and sequence and systems. This was only for masters. The test process was mainly written and it was pen paper subjective. It was 10 questions for around 1.5 to 2 hours, I don't remember exactly. The areas were mainly on analog but it was mainly concentrated on digital. So it would be better if we or the students who are preparing for analog devices concentrate more on digital. And there was one C programming questions which was based on command line arguments, so it was pretty much easy. From analog, the questions asked were mainly on current mirrors. From digital part, they asked the questions related to FSM and a little bit of timing. So the timing should be given more focus, that's what I believe. Then the timing, we were not actually able to find, we were not able to adjust the time for the exam, we were not able to complete the questions. So time was a little bit of an issue. Then there were also 4 MCQs and which was basically on digital part, digital timing specifically on that. The questions were a little bit tricky, but with sufficient practice I think we can able to cope up with it. And the questions we can find it online, and there are sites like asicworld.com. From that you can obtain the questions and practice it by yourself. Okay, so interview was in 2 rounds. First was purely technical and second was having a technical as well as HR. So round 1 was fully technical. So here the interview was mainly focusing on the questions where we went wrong. Example, the question on alternating negative edges, where the question I attempted it in an FSM way where they said I have to implement it on some simpler way using a flip-flop, just a single flip-flop and some combination circuits. So that was a little bit difficult issue. Then a question on C programming, I felt it a little bit difficult. The question I didn't understand exactly. So that they made it clear and I sorted it out. So the point they were focusing mainly on was how you grasp the question or how you correct the mistakes. The approach was more important for them. And the questions, apart from all these questions, there were 2 to 3 questions. One was finding the non-repeating number in an array, so using comparators, so you had to design a hardware accordingly. Then there was another question which was for counting the number of ones in an array, for which you have to use full adders. And there was a question on multiplexers, how do you avoid glitching in multiplexers in high frequency. So that was mainly in round 1. So round 2 first half was basically technical, and in technical questions they asked a question like how to interface 2 systems with different frequencies and different phases. So they were expecting an answer related to metastability and how to avoid the metastability. It's like when you use a single flip-flop in front of a system, it can help you in interfacing the frequencies. But they were more focused on how and related to. And there were many questions, not many, but a few questions related to technical which I don't remember now. And in HR part, first was simple HR questions like location, family and everything. And then they asked why am I not approaching for PhD? And then that was for HR. Then finally they asked do you have any questions to ask? So I asked them what is my job profile and what am I supposed to work on and everything, whether we need any prerequisites before joining and stuff. So that was in round 2. So the tips I would like to suggest is to master the basic digital circuits, so combinational, sequential and memory, and practice lots of problems, especially in FSMs, solving using the state diagrams and K-maps and everything. Then the important point is to solve more problems on timing, especially setup time, hold time and a little bit questions on metastability. You must be able to see the circuit and you must be able to solve whether the circuit will face any setup time or hold time failures. Next, the sites I would suggest is mainly asicworld.com. From asicworld.com we have even tutorial for learning Verilog, and Verilog is really important for a digital profile. So that you have to learn. Then you have to even learn about C programming, the basics of C programming, how to receive arguments from command line. So it should be C programming in Unix or Linux environment would be more useful. Then you should also prepare a little bit simple analog circuits current mirrors and how to find the voltages and current through parts. And the book I would suggest is Rabe, the whole textbook. And for timing part, I would suggest Vista Harris, like there are problems in Vista Harris and even solutions are provided. And as in a general thing, I would suggest like to think aloud so that the interview get an insight of what you are thinking in your mind. So when you are given a problem in the interview, you need to tell your steps or what is going on in your mind, so that he can understand like whether you are going in the right direction. So even if you go in wrong direction, like he can direct you so that you will be able to solve the problems.